Apple is scheduled to report its quarterly financial results after the bell Tuesday. Analysts are expecting another solid performance from the tech giant, driven by strong sales of its iPhones. WSJ's Daisuke Wakabayashi joins us now with what Wall Street and investors should be on the lookout for. Hi, Dai. Thanks for joining us. So it's still all about the iPhone, huh?
Yeah, the iPhone is, for all intents and purposes, the iPhone is, Apple's kind of earnings driver. It accounts for about 70% of the company's revenue, and it's the most profitable product. And so, as long as the iPhone is doing well, and it's done well so far in this kind of latest upgrade cycle, Apple's earnings remain pretty solid.
Sounds good, but what about the Apple Watch, which debuted to great fanfare in April? And this is also the first quarter in which the company can tally sales data for its smartwatch. Is Apple going to break out specific sales numbers for the watch?
Who knows? But they've said so far that they're not going to. They said that doing so may give competitors an advantage. Also, I do suspect that maybe they don't want to heap too much pressure on this new product area. They probably realize that maybe it might not get off to the kind of start that the iPhone or the iPad got off to. And so they wanted to maybe give themselves a little bit of breathing room to not have to break out the numbers early on. But that said, I'm sure investors and analysts will be listening for any sort of clues about how this new product category is doing.
Right. So reading between the lines there, do you think then that the sales for the Apple Watch were not quite what Apple had been hoping for?
I think the timing, I think the launch did not go as smoothly as they had hoped. They initially announced it in September of last year. Then they had an event to flag it in March. And then it didn't really get into the hands of consumers until late April. And even then, there were real shortages. And so a lot of people didn't get theirs till June. And so the usual kind of new product momentum that Apple tends to enjoy kind of got broken up here. And I think, now we're in this kind of summer doldrums and, people aren't that actively going out to buy new things. And so Apple's going to have to ramp up the marketing machine again before the holidays to try to get people to, to make this kind of the must-get holiday gift.
Absolutely. Now let's talk about China for a moment. China has been a big driver of Apple's earnings in recent quarters, but there are concerns about the economic slowdown there. So how will China factor into these results?
Yeah, China has become Apple's second biggest market, surpassing Europe in the latest quarter. Revenue went up 71% there in the most recent quarter. And so, Apple has increasingly become dependent on the Chinese market. Now, so far, it has kind of resisted or defied kind of some of the overall trends of like cheaper smartphones and maybe a little bit of slowdown in consumer spending. Apple still remains an incredibly strong brand there and has kind of defied all those trends. It really remains, I think this quarter will shine a big light on whether it can continue to defy those kind of broader trends.
All right. Thank you so much for that, Daisuke.